Okay, I'm going to call a meeting to order.
Uh-oh. There I am.
And
Jimmy.
can I get
The heck
Who
is
is
going
that?
on?
Who's Ralph?
Ralph Spinoza? He's an interested
It's
party
installed.
from the
Oh,
outside.
okay, because I got no image or nothing on him, so,
No,
but he is signed in. So you guys are
Okay.
good to go. Have fun.
thank you. All right, I'm calling the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Peter Dunlop,
Sandy Slavin,
Mac White, present.
Jim Gibberti. Okay, we got 4 of us here. We have a quorum. And we have minutes from the meeting of the 28th.
I have reviewed the minutes and make a motion to approve the January 28th, 2021 minutes as presented.
second,
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
400.
Jimmy, when did you open the when did you open the meeting?
6:32.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
For the
correct.
record.
Okay, sewer business. 72 Minot Avenue. Sewer connection to Minot Pump Station. Guy, this is the one that's up by the school. This is the school issue, right?
I believe so. It's on school property. The school is going to abandon it. He's connected to it. And I guess the issue really is what's going to happen? Does he lose his ability to tie into the sewer? Does he own it? Does the town give it to him? I think it's something that the school department and the selectmen need to deal with. I don't think it's our issue. I think because we've maintained it for so long, I guess it's assumed that we own it. We've paid to maintain it, upkeep it, the whole 9 yards for the school. But it is a school. It's on the school property. The school owns it, and they're abandoning it and building a new. Actually, they already built the new pump station. So the gentleman is concerned that he's going to be without sewer.
Well, correct, he will be. But we
He
knew
makes a
about
lot.
Mac, go ahead. Mac.
Well, I don't think he's going to be without sewer.
No, I don't either.
It depends who's going to pay to correct this. So, I mean, it's with the development of the new school that they're abandoning this, so.
Well, if they
And
abandon
I
it,
think-
Mac, where does the sewer go? If they abandon it, then I suppose technically you're supposed to decommission it. So I don't know what they're going to do for abandonment.
Well, you know what, Guy? And well, you know how I feel about this.
I do.
That's a school department issue right now, school building committee issue. So, again, the first stop for him would be the school building committee, I believe. It's part of their contract. And,
Yes, you're right. He CC'd everybody. So I hope somebody responds to him.
yeah. So, but he will not be left without sewer. I mean, that's not reasonable. But it's who's going to pay for it, and we don't maintain private pumping stations.
Guy, am I incorrect in saying that I saw a letter from somebody from, I believe, the school department or school interface that they want to be part of a discussion regarding this?
Now, that was the 72 minor. They want to be part of the discussion.
Yes.
Correct?
Okay, that's the one. All right, I misconstrued
The
it then.
second page of the letter, Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, that's.
Well, my feeling is the first stop should be the school building committee.
I agree.
And then,
Why is so much mentioned about the stormwater runoff?
Because it
that
enters
was-
into his property. That's just him speaking to
Correct.
allowing the town, the school to dump onto his property. Now he's going to develop it. And what are they going to do? So that's an issue that's nothing to do with us. I think
Correct.
it's just giving historic information. That's what I'm thinking.
correct.
Will somebody reach out to Michael and tell him what his next course of action is?
I've already done that, Commissioner Slavin. I already done that. But I also suggested he write a letter to us. Actually, the letter, if you look, is CC to everybody. So I said that he'd would be served best if he let everybody, put everybody on notice that he's concerned, and as we progress along, that he should be part of the discussion so that he knows where he stands.
Okay.
If it's going to be his pump station, then the land has to be given to him, or easement, because he has to have right to it, maintain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
But-
he is aware. I told him that.
Max suggested he reaches out to the school building committee, and I don't see them on the distribution.
I thought it was school department. I thought he went to the superintendent.
He did. Well, it's CC to the superintendent.
And so it's a school department issue, and that would be the administrator, and probably be her responsibility to bring it to the board.
I would suggest someone contact him and tell him to reach out to the school building committee.
Well, he also CC'd Madden and Roberts, GAF Engineering.
Yeah? Are they on the building committee?
Aren't they involved with it?
Dave
don't know.
Minot has been notified about the problem. I believe he has something to do with the building committee for the school. So Dave Minot has been made aware of this issue.
I just think it would be a courteous, never mind. I'm not going, never mind.
That's why we brought it to Dave Minot, because he's on that committee.
We have a recommendation. I thought we could reach out to the man and let him know what our recommendation is.
I
All right.
agree. I agree, that's fair. Let everybody know.
Okay.
But who's gonna reach out to him?
Guy, could you just send him a note on that? Or a phone
Yes,
call?
School building committee. Thank you.
Guy, can you just send out
I'll talk to Mike.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the sewer users fee, discussion vote. This letter that we have to John Foster is based on last week, the last meeting. Is that correct, Guy?
That is correct.
Yeah, and this reflects the increase that was voted at the last meeting.
Has anybody told anybody in town that we increased the fee?
Well, most of them know it because I've been questioned on it.
Because when last time I asked you, Jimmy, you said you hadn't talked to anybody.
Well, I hadn't sent anything out, no.
Have you now?
No,
So everybody's got a rumor without anything formal from us.
well, it'd be almost like the water department. I mean, we can send them out
I really do think we need to notify the town administration that we've increased the fees. We're certainly not hearing from our liaison, but at least Mr. Sullivan should be aware.
I will contact him tomorrow on that specifically.
On this letter to Mr. Foster, where do we get this number?
What number?
$3,072,915.41.
We applied the EDU rate to all the EDUs within the town.
Oh, that's what it comes to?
Yes.
Thank you.
In pennies, I thought our EDU rate was rounded up to a whole dollar.
But what the problem is that our EDUs is something like 9,351.256, something like that. So
Oh, so we have a fraction of,
always,
oh,
because some places get a quarter EDU, half EDU, you know, so you can't.
guys, slowly, can you tell me the number of EDUs out to the 40?
No, I cannot. I can give you a ballpark. I don't have the number in front of me, and I don't want to mislead you. So it's around 9,350. I can give you the actual number. Call tomorrow. I'll give you the actual number. I'll be at the plant.
So you must have given Mr. Foster the actual number.
No, I did not. Lee has the actual number, gave it to me for budgeting, and then we give all Mr. Foster needs is what he needs to bill, and the authorization, we're authorizing him to bill that amount of money. And then we send over to the department a list, an itemized list of all the customers and what they each have, so he can make up the billing. So he will get all the itemized numbers when he's actually ready to send out the bills. And that's what Lee's been doing for the last 3 weeks. actually probably longer than that, but matching up all the EDUs, get the right addresses to the customers, how many EDUs and all that stuff. And we'll get that over to Mr. Foster's help. I think it's Tracy, and she'll apply it, and then they'll give it to the hire company we have that does this, the billing company, and then they'll put the bills together, put them in the envelope, and mail them out.
So we're charging $626 a year now.
I believe so. I forget. I thought it was 646. I thought it was 646, to be honest. I think 626 is what we always were.
626.
That's what I believe, but you have more notes than I.
Sorry, we did go up to 6.
You probably have more accurate notes than I, but I thought it was 646. We decided
Yeah.
around at $20.
So that was a 3% increase. I just want to make sure we put it in the minutes that it's now the 646 annual.
It wasn't in last week's minutes?
But
It is in the last minutes, and it is rounded up to 646.
Yeah, I thought Sandy said she reviewed the minutes, she approved them, so that's where they are. Okay,
Guy, we're talking about it now. It doesn't hurt to put them in this minutes also. Did somebody?
no, that's no problem.
Right, it's in the minutes.
Yes, it is in last week's minutes.
3% increase, 646 is correct.
But Peter asked how we came to the rate, and what we have is the EDU, the number of EDUs times the new rate of 646. That's it.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this letter to go to John for the rate increase?
So moved.
Yep,
And second, all in favor?
Aye. aye.
Aye,
Was that an aye, Sandy?
yes.
Okay, 4000.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Peter
Mac
did. Peter
Thank you.
did. I
Peter
believe.
did, Peter Mac.
Peter made the motion. Mac did second.
Yep. Then the next little gem is fees that we're currently charging for permits.
How old are these fees, Guy?
I'm sorry,
How old are these fees?
how old?
Yes.
I've been here for 10 years, we've never changed them,
Wow.
but that's what we do.
And we do it well.
We do
Do
it
we
well.
have anything from anybody else in the situation as to what other towns are charging?
I can't hear you.
What are other towns charging? Any idea?
Actually, I have at the office, you can stop by, Sandy, but for an example, we're getting $75 for residential trench permits, which means that we are the responsible, I sign off, so I'm certified as a responsible person to do that. The other towns are charging $200 to $260, $270, $280, $300. We're charging $75. Within our own town, municipal maintenance is charging $125. So I thought that we should at least be consistent with our own town and charge $125.
That's for the residential.
I have a recommendation on this.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mac.
It's been 10 years, Guy.
yes, it has.
Double the fees. Done.
Double?
Double
On all of them.
on all of them. That's
Effective
10 years of 10 years of not being up to date. So,
effective when?
Mr. Chairman, effective when?
I would have make it effective the first of the month. How's that?
March
March.
1st.
Long as it's legal.
March 1st, yeah.
Done.
Okay, well,
Those fees are ridiculously low. Our cost to carry for labor is huge.
okay, while we're on the fees, let's look at the repair. We have a 0 on repair. Before I take a vote on it, take it all at one
Oh, yeah,
time.
2 times 0 is 0.
So,
Repair, Guy, what's your opinion on repair? Same as residential trench?
I would suggest it's the same, yes, because repairs, the only difference is I don't pump out systems. We do everything else. So it's pretty comparable to the actual permit minus that. I was thinking because we get 250, I'm sorry, residential is 200. I was thinking of 150 for the repair permit.
Well, that will be 150 when we double everything.
Yeah, well, the repair is zero.
It'll be
Zero.
double the residential trench, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, that's my recommendation.
Okay, do I have a motion? Was that a motion, Mac, for the doubling and the
Make a
150?
motion, we double the fees that haven't been updated in 10 years.
And the repair?
And the repair.
Correct, Peter, and the repair.
Okay, so the repair will go to 150?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
A second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Peter, that's an aye.
yes.
Okay, 400.
No, so I'm just going to make sure it goes in the minutes. May I just bear with me? So the drain layers permit are now 330. The
Affirmative.
A commercial sewer is 500.
Affirmative.
Commercial trench is 400.
Affirmative.
Residential sewer is 400.
Affirmative.
Residential trench is 150 and repair
Affirmative.
is 150. I
Correct.
just want to make sure those numbers are put in our minutes, because not everybody's going to see this sheet.
Correct, Sandy.
And this is effective 3/1/21. Is that, everybody understand that? Agree on that?
I do.
March 1st.
I do.
Okay. Okay, so that's an effective date 400 if we need a vote on it. Okay, next item of fun. Minkle Boys Catering. I knew there was something there. There was somebody. Hey, everybody aware of, oh, hello, Donna.
Good evening.
Donna has joined the fray.
What time, and what time is it?
Time at the
6:50.
dawn is 6:50.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll open the discussion on Minkle Boys Catering. What does, anybody, questions, comments, criticisms, complaints?
Well, where do we stand with any outstanding bills to the owner of the building?
I don't, that's a tough question for me because I don't think it was charged as a commercial kitchen. We have no record of it in our records of an EDU being paid for that period of time as a commercial kitchen. The church, it's tough for us. We're getting a lot of abatement requests because the church consists of recreation center, worship centers, houses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's pretty tough. Lee has been working for the last week and a half trying to isolate, separate all the building to figure out if we in fact charge them an EDU for this building. So I don't know. I have no concept. And that's all I can go with it. And the other thing is we keep talking about capacity, you know, and moratorium. More importantly, is that we have an issue with the pump station. Last weekend, the Kendrick pump station ran all weekend in a high float area. That was marginal at best when we got completed with the trailer park. That's a 5-year plan. So we're giving away their capacity because in 5 years, now it's probably 3 years, when they get the capacity in a pump station that was marginal and we're adding other flow, the question becomes is what gallon breaks the camel's back? And we're not going to stop the industrial park, the trailer park and say, whoa, you can't put any more gallons because we're full. because we committed to them. So that's my fear. And we can add 5 gallons here, 10 gallons there, 15 gallons, whatever. But one of those gallons is going to break the back of that pump station. We have issues with lines. So that's all I've got to say about it.
I totally
ahead.
understand that, Guy. Let me further clarify my question. Where do we stand as far as the owners of this building, the bio content of their discharge and the impact statement on the pump station?
I've never had anything. I think one of the meetings a few weeks ago, he says he's going to send the information. I have yet to receive it.
Right, and who did the impact study?
Well, so the problem is that Russ did a complete study of the area because they did not do an impact study. I think they sent something in saying that they run their numbers and they're going to be fine, if I remember correctly. So we had GHD do if you will, a modeling of that area for the pump stations, lines, et cetera, et cetera. And we had a impact study from the engineering firm from the trailer park saying that they were marginal at best. And then we got one from Bader saying that no more flow should be put to that Kendrick at this time. And then because that was unacceptable, then GHD did one of the pump station and the lines, and we have some issues. So, I don't know how to answer this anymore. We have no clarity from the owners of that facility. So, one day we'll have to get that.
Guy, you mean owner, sorry, I'm gonna ask, the owners or the person who has the lease known as Stone Path? They're different.
It doesn't, I don't think that's important. What I'm saying is there's a pipe coming out of that building, no matter who you call it, and the flow coming out of that building goes to the pump station that's in trouble. So it doesn't matter who the owner is.
You keep saying the owner hasn't given you anything.
Well, the owner, whoever was at our meeting, that particular owner.
The owner wasn't at the meeting.
Oh, so who owns, nobody owns the business? Wasn't the business owner at our meeting?
That was the person who leases from the owner of the building.
Oh, but he leases from but he is the owner of that business. That's all.
You're misleading me by saying the owner never gave us anything. The person who runs the business hasn't come up with the information.
Yes, I said the owner and the owner of the business. I've never met the owner of the building. I don't know if you met. I don't even know who he is. It's probably some shell company. I don't know who it is. But the bottom line is that what we said. Oh, here we are. What we said was that at that meeting, the owner of that business was supposed to supply some numbers, which he has not done.
And that was Stone Path.
So how do we do anything with this building if there's a balance due? Or
Who do we bill?
he hasn't met the requirements that were set forth? How do we do that?
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do either.
What I'm saying is somebody did an impact statement, we paid for it. Do we typically do that, Guy? Who pays for the
No.
impact statement?
Impacts are paid for by business owners. We've done them. We've been doing them right along. When we wanted to get an impact study from the 40B projects, they pay for their own impact studies. When the trailer park wanted to add flow, they spent 40 grand for an impact study.
Okay,
When
Guy,
Nick
hold
wanted to develop, he paid for an impact
hold,
study.
Guy, hold a second. Hold a second.
Okay.
Let me ask Russ, what did you find on that area? What was your determination?
Would I have to go back and look at the specifics of the report, but from recollection, I believe the Kendrick and Thatcher stations were undersized if all the flows that were planned on for that area get put in. I think it's kind of like the classic case of overcommitting. There are the trailer park and another facility. I can pull it up here momentarily and take a look at it real quick.
Oh, I was just trying to get an idea
But
where we're.
It's in line with Beta and what the other firms said. We're all in agreement that the station is has some issues going on. It's undersized.
Yeah. I guess my issue is if somebody, we did an impact statement and we paid for it and we shouldn't have, then my feeling is that should be resolved before we consider anything. I don't know.
My feeling is we shouldn't consider anything right now.
What that cost, Guy, was it about 35,000, something like that?
No, I think it was like 20 grand or something.
20 grand? Okay.
For the cost of the 18,000 to 20 grand to have that done.
Now
I can
you're
tell you, I
sa-
can, oh, sorry,
Okay,
if you want the exact number, I can let you know what that was too. I just got the memo pulled up.
Okay, yeah, please, go ahead, give us the number.
Um,
If you have-
Well, let me start with the memo real quick. Let me just go down to the recommendations. Of course, my computer wants to freeze up right now.
Of course it does.
Um,
Oh, I can fix that.
I got a bigger hammer. Will that help?
Yeah, so we're saying that if we incorporate all the proposed flows, and this was before, I believe, Stone Path was tied in, and then Great Hill Estates, and then AD Makepeace had a development of flow set aside for that. If everything's tied into the system, it will not be able to handle peak flows. Multiple sewer pipes would be over capacity. Kendrick and Thatcher would exceed their design capacity. Springborn and Narrows look a little better. Those are the two larger downstream, but Kendrick and Thatcher would be unable to handle those flows with full build out with Great Hill Estates, the Makepeace development, and Stone Path Malt.
Hey, Guy, what's the status on Great Hill at the moment?
They're soaring. They're in the middle of, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but the owners, the residents are trying to purchase the building. And when it was said to me probably 6 months ago that if that deal went through, part of the contingency is that they complete the soaring. So we may see the full impact of that trailer park sooner than later. So I will call the owner and
Okay,
see where those
So
negotiations.
the bottom line is we've already committed flow to them.
Yes.
Previously, we inherited that commitment.
Well, we
And
did,
they're
absolutely.
and they're intentionally acting on it at this particular point in time.
They are.
We have to make the assumption that we will get all of what we have authorized to them. And that's been authorized previously, so we've inherited this.
Mr. Chairman, if you're wondering the cost of that, it was $22,400 for that report.
Okay. And that was impact study for that particular station.
For the industrial park, for the Kendrick,
industrial
Thatcher, Springborn, and
Okay,
then all the connecting lines.
So
Got-
really my issue with it, Jim, is again, the
Yeah.
22,400. And what are they putting in there? What are they putting into our system? So if that's not resolved, and maybe what they're gonna put into the system with the kitchen is minimal. And it might be a net zero, it may or may not. How do we resolve accounts payable? And responsibility to give us an analysis.
Well, I've been
This is
trying
for
to get,
discussion.
no, I
I'm
understand.
just saying where I'm at.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I've tried to get in touch with legal. He's kind of strung out a little. I haven't been able to make contact with him. I've sent him, well, you saw our list of the questions.
Yeah.
I've sent him some other stuff. I've called him. I hopefully will be able to get with him this week and get some of these other things resolved as well. In lieu of that, we have the potential on a charging basis of enacting the industrial charges that we have. They haven't been imposed necessarily at the moment, but they're available to be. We have requested information, and the information that I've seen has been what we think we're doing. I've seen no testing. I've heard of no testing the guy has received. They used what they considered industry standards when they applied. Is that correct, Guy?
Yes.
Okay, so
in-
what I'm suggesting then is that if they can't provide us with ongoing information that becomes practical for usage by us and by Guy, that we think about using the industrial permit charges and use the industry standard, that's what they are actually doing. Because we don't know that they aren't going up that high. You know, that would be a substantial impact cost-wise. I'm not suggesting we do that right at the moment, but I think that's an option that we have out there in the event that they don't begin to comply or come on board with it. Comments?
Mr. Chair, my only comment is I agree, and it should be applied on a broad base as we sit down to review the EDUs. Industrials, generally speaking, we should apply the rates that we've agreed upon since 1996, which we've never applied to industry within the community. I'm not saying single out one business. I'm saying
No,
we
I
apply
agree.
it to all the businesses.
I agree.
I agree with that.
Why haven't we applied them, Guy?
That's a good question. We've never been authorized to apply them. The concern was water usage because it had to be based on some usage. But to get the amount of actual industry in the town of Wareham to get those water uses, I was told from the water department that would be no problem. But we were talking about the broad.
Why is it no problem to get the industrial and yet we can't get residential?
Because of the quantity. Because of the quantity.
Yeah, once you start the program, you should be able to punch in the address.
Well, if we start the program, you're probably absolutely right. I think we hit them with the big picture. We want Onset and Wareham. Now, keep in mind, Wareham's a lot easier to deal with than Onset as far as obtaining information. I understand Onset just upgraded and renewed their program, so it may come to the point where they're easier. But right now, I can get an individual. We're asking for a consistent, complete town, and there's some pushback. So I don't understand it. But that's
when we spoke with Onset a year or so ago, they were very receptive. They were perfectly willing if we'd pick up the cost.
Everything is about cost. Yes, they wanted us to pick up the cost of the new computer system, which we didn't, but they had to get it anyways. And I think Mr. Marino.
Do we have to pick up the cost of a computer system or just the interface?
No, we didn't. Yeah, just the interface.
They have a brand new computer system. I know that Mr. Reno just recently got some information from them as far as their water usage for our customers on Onset Water. And we have the same thing for Wareham. I think the problem is to applicate it. How do we implement it, applicate it? And I think he's going to hire an engineer to figure that out.
But Guy, didn't we
Yes.
just get the Onset water usage? You absolutely crashed my machine by sending me all those files. We have Onset numbers.
And we just got him. Yes, Mr. Greeno got him.
Yeah, about 6 weeks ago. So
I don't know how long ago. Because I talked to him a couple weeks ago and asked him where we were, and we're no further ahead than we were 6 weeks ago, or
yeah,
10
but
weeks
we
ago.
have them. But we
Well, we have them. We paid for them. Yes.
And can you do me a favor? Just let me know we have them. You don't have to send me the details.
So for full disclosure, I don't have them. Tom Garino has them.
No, you forwarded us all the files. We didn't need them.
Oh, that's what Mr. Greeno forwarded me. I forwarded them to you folks. Yeah. So what do you want me to do?
Crashed my machine because they were so big.
Yeah, crash mine too. But Tom has it on stick. So what we'll do is we'll make a lot of sticks, and if you want a copy, you can get a copy.
I don't want a copy. It's nice to know we have them. I don't know the details of seeing everybody's water usage.
Okay, moving forward here. We're still in a situation, Minkle Boys Catering. We have these issues that be resolved, and it all revolves around that, which is this particular request has triggered these other things. So where do you want to go from this point? We have a moratorium. The new hookups.
Yeah, but you can say this is a
Are we
law.
Are we considering this a new hookup? Or just increased flow out of an existing?
look, we have a problem with the area.
Go ahead.
Why? We have a problem with the area. Am I not correct? With it's undersized. Why are we going to add an additional problem right now? I just think it's the wrong time, and we do have the moratorium on, and I just my personal opinion.
Mac?
Well,
Sandy?
I would still like to know if it's basically a net zero. But again, my issue is with the owner of the building.
Who is the owner of the building? I mean, we don't seem to know that.
Well, don't everybody answer at once?
What's the
I
what's the
don't
address?
know the answer, but whoever the owner is, he owes the sewer department money for an impact study. And he owes us the BOD or the analysis of the discharge, the effluent that's going on. It's not resolved. My issue's not with Dan Minkle. That's my point.
And to Donna's point, the real issue is that whether it's a gallon or 10 gallons, we're discharged into a system that is already over capacity and undersized. And so if we add a gallon, we're taking it from the trailer park. If we add 5 gallons, we're taking it from the trailer park. And when the trailer park uses that gallon, then we're going to have an overflow issue. And who's going to be responsible? It'll be the sewer department. So to add any more flow to the Kendrick pump station, no matter who it is, seems kind of foolish.
Guy, excuse me, is the trailer park the only other one online or potentially online for that pump station? That
For
we've got
Kendrick, yes.
commit to?
For Kendrick, yes.
Okay,
Kendrick
that's-
flows to Thatcher.
So that's the one that we're concerned about is Kendrick. And the impact is going to be what's going to come down from Great Hill. They already have the allocations, what you're saying. We
That's
don't have
correct.
anybody else. We don't have anybody else with an allocation outstanding that's going into that station.
No, we do not.
Okay.
But again, keep in
All
mind,
right, just-
it goes to
Just wanna know where
Thatcher.
we're at. I just want to know.
Thatcher has more commitment coming to it. We haven't totaled
Right.
out the Thatcher commitment. So that's
Yeah,
another.
I realize that. Well, we're
Okay.
talking about
Because
Kendrick right
that's
now.
undersized also.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Go ahead,
Oh.
Mac.
when we say, Great Hill has an allotment, have we allotted them X amount?
That's been done before we ever came in to do
Okay,
it.
but now is this amount included in Russ's research as to that being over capacity?
Yes, those numbers were included. Those.
So that, okay.
So
All right.
that's why we're saying all the commitments we presently have, that system is undersized.
Okay, but it's the commitments. It's not what we're actually putting in it right this day. It's what we're committed to putting into it.
Absolutely. And we
Okay.
made this statement before we allowed the malt factory to tie in. Now they tied in, so for every gallon they put in, jeopardizes the gallons we already gave to the trailer park. And since the malt factory's been there, they've increased their flow, whether it be through entertainment, whatever. But the point is that flow is increasing, which we've already committed to the trailer park. And so that's why I say the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. We're going to realize that one day.
Okay, Sandy?
My
Sandy?
son, a person named McCarthy owns the building.
McCarthy.
I thought McCarthy owned the whole park.
Yes, he does, and he owns this one building.
Okay.
And how do we know that Stone Path has increased its outflow? Do we have any monitors in place?
No, I don't. It's just looking at the flow, that's all. So, yeah, you're right. So I'm sure everybody that goes there for functions, no one's using the bathroom. And I'm sure there's no flow. It'd be a bad assumption of me. It's probably the same as it's been from day one.
Thank you.
Okay, I understand where Mac's coming from. We do need a resolution on that. And that backs right back down to Minkle Catering. What are we gonna do there? What's your preference on that? Do we wait until that gets resolved with the building?
I don't think I don't think it's the responsible thing to go forward with it right now.
Okay. Peter?
Well, to be too honest with you, I think this is a backdoor play by the brewery to bring a restaurant in. But I mean, I can't imagine the catering business that doesn't have a bathroom for their employees, and they're going to use stone paths. It just doesn't smell right to me.
Sandy? Oh, wait a minute. Is that the cat or Sandy there?
No, I'm,
You ever yell at the cat like you do Alan?
I'm sure not. I don't think that happens at all.
I don't think it does either. Just dare to.
the cat's at ankle level. Does that give you a hint? Um, I personally, I feel that this is a wash from his previous location and it's no additional flow to the total system. Yes, I'm concerned about the impact on Kendrick, but we don't know what type of flow will be coming out of the catering business. We know what his water usage is. We have a water bill and it's nowhere near the gallons needed for at least one EDU. So that's me.
Mac?
Well, I agree it's net zero. I agree with Sandy on that. Not that we agree on much, Sandy, but I agree with you on that.
Oh, Alan, you gotta hear this.
It's all right. I
Mac?
appreciate what you do.
It's
Mac,
net zero
you're
to
not
the
even-
treatment plant. It's not net zero to Kendrick. Keep in mind. it's
Correct.
net
I
zero to
know
the
that.
treatment
I know that. I know that
plant.
guy.
Net zero to Kendrick, which is in trouble.
I know that.
And it's only net zero if we believe everything we've been told.
Correct,
Absolutely.
correct.
Because I have no EDUs, no recollection. I'd be very frank. I can tomorrow go to the town hall and register a business. I think that's pretty straightforward. And then I would, in the town where I'm generally speaking, there should be a process. So as an example, they're building a car dealership downtown Wareham. I think it's 379. They request from a young lady, they want to put a cafe in there. And they're
Oh, I
told
saw
they're
that.
strapped because it's just a cafe. And we'll probably just do coffee and smoothies. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I said, where are you putting it? I would put it here. We approved that for a car dealership. Well, it's just a little bit more flow. And, so it's, I guess the realization of Wareham is that you just keep adding and adding and adding. Once you get permission to sign the sewer, you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding because it's all,
Right.
and so it's an impact. And so I'm working with it. I said, you need to go, and here's my point. I said, you need to go to the inspectional services and fill out the proper paperwork and go through the routine of having inspected by plumbing, having inspected by sewer, having inspected by electrical, and you get the proper permits, and then you come back. You just don't go get a business permit and open up a business.
I agree.
That's my recommendation to her.
But keep in mind, this was a fish market. It, to me, had a lot more water.
No, it's
flow.
not.
No, it's not.
Not. The fish market is separate than the building where the car
Separate.
dealership is.
Oh, you mean where Franconia Oil used to be?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes, the car
No.
dealership, and I'm not saying that what she's saying is wrong. I'm not criticizing her. Well, all I'm saying, there's a process that every organization within the community in the inspectional services has to be involved in you getting into business because everybody has regulations. I
Correct.
just don't run to the town hall, get a business permit and open up my business. And that's
I-
what's done in the onset campgrounds.
I will definitely agree. We've been sidelined on the process.
it's
And
Right.
enough is enough of that.
I think, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
we have a superintendent that has pretty much given us, his expertise and what we have and what we're dealing with. Why would we want to go and create another problem?
Because we're in Wareham.
We don't want to be, that's that's not a good answer. That's not a good answer. We need to,
I disagree with that.
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Don't be him answer.
All right.
It's just my opinion, but
Donna,
it
keep-
seems irresponsible for us to move forward on this.
All right, shall we put this to a vote? Anybody want to make a motion on this one way or another?
Well,
I don't want to vote it down, but I'd like to table it.
well, would the board consider, and we can, I don't know if we have to vote on it. Doing it provisionally, if this guy gets squared up with the sewer department, with what he owes us?
Well, who owes us? You mean Stone Path, which is not
Whoever,
the caterer.
It's kind of convoluted, so's this whole thing.
Well,
I agree with Peter, but that's not our jurisdiction. And it's an effort to kind of do a
End around.
end around, yeah. But that's not our jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction is right here with the sewer.
right.
If the account, in my opinion, is not squared up, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it needs to be corrected.
So you're suggesting, Peter, that we table this until this gets corrected?
Yeah, but I would like to include how we're going to go about getting it corrected. Are we going to bill somebody, and if so, who?
Guy, you have an input on that?
Well, if a business, in the past, we build a business that is required to do the impact study for that business coming into the infrastructure and treatment plan of the town of Wareham. And that's historically how we do it.
Well, that's
So
what
this would be Stone Path?
Business owner, yes.
the building is immaterial.
I'm sorry?
I said the building itself is immaterial. It's what's inside,
Correct.
what's working,
That's right.
what's going on.
That's right.
All
What's
right, I
going on
agree with that.
process, what that water is going to do, it's a plug flow system, which by
Okay, so-
definition from the EPA is.
Based on, okay, hold a second, guys.
Needs to be,
We're going in the circle again. The quickie. No, the thing is, I'm getting at, Peter's suggested putting this on the table until Mac's problem is resolved, i.e. the monies. And the question now is, are we gonna bill directly from the sewer department? Is this gonna be through the town? This gonna, for the impact study, and
to
Now, do you bill the landlord or the business?
it would be the business.
not the business only. Don't worry about the business is involved. This is it.
That's right.
not
The
the
business
building.
is it's not the
isn't
building,
part
it's
of
the
this
business.
equation. The building's not part of this equation.
No.
It just happens to be located in it, but it's not part of the equation.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of touchy because now Minkle says that he's leasing from the building owner,
That's,
Yeah, well,
but yet he's tying into the same storm drain that Stone Path is hooked up to.
he's
I mean, the same sewer drain.
couple of tie-ins there. One's water accessibility and one's the drainage.
Right.
listen, my
Well,
feeling
so
is
who do we bill now?
we put the onus on Stone Path.
That's all.
You
Period.
want to make this work, then square it up with us. Is that unreasonable? It's certainly legal.
We do it, it's not unreasonable. It's acceptable. It should have been done a long time ago.
I agree, and
I'm
I'm going to
really gonna
hang on
talk
to
about-
that.
We paid Beta for a study also.
Right.
I don't
So,
even know what that number was.
Okay,
all
guys,
right,
hold
I'll clarify how I feel. I'm not open to anything until that gets squared up.
on. Sandy,
So you guys handle it however you want, but
Okay.
I'm not saying no to Dan Minkle. I'm saying square it up with Stone Path.
Sandy,
At the last meeting, Stone Path was supposed to give Guy some data regarding the outflow. Guy, did you ever receive it?
No, I have not.
No,
Oh, that's it. Then until that's done,
if you want to stop it there, it's done. But I still want to get the $22,400.
okay, so the motion I have on the floor, if I'm correct, is that we table Minkle until Stone Path is settled. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, but I'll second that with discussion, Jim.
Okay,
I think we need to reach out to them and communicate.
Yep.
This is what we want.
okay,
I'm not gonna leave, we shouldn't leave anybody hanging.
No.
So if you want to deal with us and square with us, that's the bottom line.
I second.
And I'll get banned from Facebook too. I'm not on it.
all right, do I have we've got a motion, a second? All in favor?
So the motion is that we're tabling Minkle until Stone Path pays up.
Affirmative.
I don't think that we heard until Stone Path resolves.
Well, there's more than one issue. There's also the issue of what he's putting into the system. We don't know. It's not our responsibility. And the cost of the impact study. So there's two issues there.
Still, until it's resolved.
And it's not resolved, then I'm not hearing it. I'm just like, I'm deaf anyhow from construction, but
So the motion is that it's tabled until Stone Path is resolved on both issues.
correct. And you can write it, you can add detail to that, but that's the intent.
Okay, somebody gonna make that motion for me?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All right,
Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Okay, Mac?
aye.
And I'm being aye, so that's 5-0-0. Okay. Superintendent's report. Unless we've got something else that wasn't reasonably anticipated.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, under that category, any sewer business not reasonably anticipated, yesterday actually, or today, I forget,
Right back.
realizing that the town meeting's coming, or tentatively coming, or it may come, not knowing when, but I think they got some dates published, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's in March. I'm not really sure. There's two warrant articles I'd like to get on that, whether it be the town meeting, special town meeting, or whatever, I'm not so sure. But I want it to be on record that we have an article. And the first one is that with the emergency generators, we had approved that, I think, a couple of years ago. And between engineering and which was a lot longer than we thought because they had to be raised, the end of the fiscal year came and that money went back to the to retained earnings. So I would put an article that at town meeting would bring back $453,636, which is the actual amount of the bids. And we went to the Attorney General's office to verify that we could hold those bids until the money came back into the system from town meeting. So that's one article I'd like to get at the town meeting. The second article is, and I'm talking to Judy about this now, the second article would be the Weston and Sampson did a rehab of Smith's pump station, but they didn't bill us till after the fiscal year ended. So technically I can't pay them. The bill was for $11,000, $11,036.38. So technically it has to go to town meeting to get authorized to pay a bill that was out of the fiscal year that I'm in. So those are two articles that I'd like to get on the town meeting, and I'd like the board to authorize me to put those on, or they put them on themselves so that we can get them on town meeting warrants so I can address these two important issues.
okay, the, warrant for the March town meeting has been closed for 3-4 months now. So what you're looking for is in the annual spring for the generators, or to be resubmit the generator one?
Yes, now I don't know if there's a spring special. Just,
Sorry, wait a minute, Guy, let me finish.
okay,
Then the one to pay the old bill must be done in this year, so that has to go in the special spring. Which
Yes.
means we can spend the funds before the end of the fiscal year, which is probably where you want to put the generators.
yes, in the spring, in the special, because then I can use the funds immediately.
So are these the 3 generators for the 145,000 that was approved in spring 2018?
Yes, they were. And then what happened was 2 of the generators, because they're water cooled, which is illegal, we had to put them outside the building, which meant we had to raise them because of the elevation. So that we put 1 in, the 2 we didn't, and this is for the 2.
Okay, I'm just trying to think which article we have to reverse in order to submit a new one.
I don't think we had an article for the generators originally because that was in my budget, I believe. Usually I put them in my budget, but I'm not so sure. You know more about it than I. But
In 2018, we had 3 generators for 145,000.
okay,
Then we had 2 generators for 500,000 in spring 2019.
that's correct. So what happened is the 3 generators.
All right, which one of the 2 are you asking we can't pay because it's outside of the time frame?
No, the 2 generators at Terry Lane and I believe it's Saltworks Road, those 2 generators could not be put in with the original 2018 article because they were water cooled and the new generators are too big. So the $453,636 is for 2 generators. One at Saltworks, and I believe it came in front of the Conservation Commission, and one at Terry Lane. Those 2 generators are $453,636 because they're going to be outside attenuated. That's what this article is for. And we allocated $500,000 in 2019, but we didn't get it completed in time. So that $500,000 went back to the retained earnings. And now in the spring, I want to bring back $436,000.
I think I'm trying to hear you say that the spring 2019 article for 2 generators for 500,000 didn't get expended in time, therefore you want it reversed and resubmitted as a new article.
However you do it. I just know when I went to use the funds, I was told they're no
Yes.
longer available
Yes.
back into retained earnings.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, spring 19, not used. Resubmit.
So they don't automatically, when you don't use them, they don't automatically go to reverse, they just stay there forever?
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, but you can't use the funds, it's just a blank
That's
article.
right. You gotta reverse it.
Article is written.
Okay.
You have to reverse
Coming out
it.
of your normal budget, you're limited to that year. If it's coming out of a loan or debt exclusion, then you can use it forever.
We don't do-
So want it resubmitted for special spring 2021?
Okay, do you need a
Yes.
motion and a vote on that, Sandy?
I would think so. So I make a motion that we submit a article for special spring 2021 for $500,000 for 2 generators, replacing the spring 19 article.
Second.
Donna, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Guy, how much money is owed in an old invoice?
500.
$11,036.38.
$11,036.38, and who is it payable to?
Weston and Sampson.
I make a motion that we submit a article for special spring 2021 to pay a delinquent invoice for $11,036.38 payable to Weston and Sampson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 500.
Okay, Guy, the invoice, what's the date of the invoice? It has to be in 2020, fiscal year 20?
It is. I have it here. The invoice was April 20th, 2020.
April 20th of 2020.
Yes,
Huh.
ma'am.
Okay. So Jimmy, who's gonna work on these articles?
Sandy.
Sandy?
Second.
Was that a motion? Do I hear a second on that?
Seconded already.
Sandy,
All in favor?
you are the article wizard.
Thank you, Sandy, for volunteering.
And Sandy, if you write them, it'll be perfect the first time.
You know what I said to Alan earlier?
No, we don't want to know.
Hey, Sandy, you're
We're
gonna end up sleeping with the cat again.
I'm
So
afeared.
he's warmer than Alan.
Guy, you have anything else in there?
No, not in the unusual. Well, we already discussed something, and I don't know where to put it, but we talked about a gentleman who represented an elderly lady about on, I think it was Back Street. We gave her a connection in 2012. And we discussed it, but they called again and said, are they going to be able to use it? It's been granted by the, selectmen, sewer commissioners back in 2012. And I got to ask, are we going to honor that? Are we not going to honor it? So I can give an answer. I guess the elderly lady is looking to clear her estate and she wants to put it in the market. She's quite elderly. And I don't know, I need some direction. The realtor is in Marion. He's got to have some direction to tell her if she can move forward or not. So I think we should, do something.
Well, it's been granted already, hasn't it?
It has
Is that
been
what you're saying?
2012.
Yeah, but didn't we say something about if you didn't use it within a year, you lost it?
Well, this is before that time.
Yeah, we haven't resolved the old
We haven't
commitment
resolved
yet.
that has not been resolved. Yeah, you're right.
Jimmy's gotta go talk to legal again.
That's what I'm trying. Exactly.
Well, maybe for the
Yeah.
first time. You got
Yeah.
a whole list, Jim.
I know I do. Send it to him already.
I know you did. I saw that.
So for clarity, he has a commitment. We'll honor it until we find out otherwise.
I would.
Well,
We
it's not a new commitment, correct?
No, it's an old commitment,
Yeah,
2012.
let her get her stuff cleared up.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we should.
Well,
If it's already been given to her, just
Guys,
because.
yeah,
can I
but
go
if
back?
she's settling her estate and she turns this into, a multi-family house or
No,
something.
it's we granted a single family home. There's only
Okay,
one connection already there. It's a single family home.
Thank you.
All right. As long as we're covered there.
Yes, it's a single family home. That's all it
All
is.
right.
Can you tell me the address for the record so I can
No.
write it down?
I don't, hold on.
It's on Oak Street.
No, it's not on Oak Street. I got an email, so let me just make sure. I think I have it on my phone.
So it's for the living space over the garage that Alan uses?
That's the
Yes.
one. That's the one.
That's the one.
Does he have his own cat?
Yes, he's got the old one.
You guys keep pushing this cat thing.
I'm not gonna.
It's X for clarity. It's 0 Onset Avenue, lots 1018 and 1038 on map number 16.
It's right around the corner from the other one.
Okay. We will honor it. And when was it done? In 2000
12.
Well,
Thank you. Are we there? Oh, meeting. Why can't we have a meeting on the 25th? We've had a whole lot of memos going around about no meeting.
I don't have a problem with having a meeting on the 25th. But the note I got was that it was too difficult for Steve.
Well,
He
wait
had
a
two of
minute,
them, but
right
he's got both at the same time tonight.
Yeah,
So
but right now, the school board is meeting right now.
that's what I
and
just said. We've got both at the same time tonight. So what is the next, the
They're
25th?
both at the same time tonight. Why can't we both have it on the same time on the 25th?
Well, let's try to do that.
We'll just leave it in. Yeah,
That's all.
we'll leave it there. We'll stay with the 25th. If something comes up, we have to change it. We'll go from there.
That's all.
Yeah, because I think Steve's issue was a staffing issue. So he's covering this meeting tonight. He split Bob at the other one. I think Bob's being trained, so he was concerned about that. I'm not really sure, but it was a staffing issue for him. That's all. He was just trying to eliminate some staffing issues.
If we published our
If it is,
times,
go ahead, Sandy.
if we've published our times and dates and given it to WCTV, I don't think another committee can come in and usurp our time frame.
Well, Sandy, they took our slots anyways. Remember, they come in, all of a sudden they changed from the school. They took our slots. So what's the difference?
I know.
So they've set precedent. They have priority.
Why?
Because I don't know why. I never understood why we had to move out of 320 because they decided to use it. But
Because we're in the number 2 business.
you know what I mean? Yeah, we're at number 2, they're number 1.
No,
So
why?
I guess that's the real reason. And so they have a precedent, Sandy. I don't know how else to explain it. They get precedent.
They got into the scheduling system for the room before we did.
No,
No,
No.
I talked to-
that is incorrect. They used to meet at the school.
no,
Incorrect.
that's incorrect.
Patty said they got in first, and therefore they got the dates first when they moved out of the school. We did
When
not.
they moved out of the school, we were already meeting there.
That's right.
Superintendent's report?
Listen, I don't have a whole lot to say. Project's going great. We dug some holes today to check for the piping for the project. It's going great. The basins are wrapping up. I think another couple months they'll be ready to be tested, and which is really huge. They're looking good. We've got the D-box in for the distribution from the clarifiers. I'm really excited. With the weather and cold and snow, to stay on target is for me is incredible. I'm really excited about that. So it's a good thing. I met with a young lady, an engineer, Coster, and because we're 60 percentile on the SR funding for the force main, we may not get it this year, probably next year. But anyways, I'm looking at Smith and some other force mains. This is a type of interior lining, and I've had some friends of mine check it out, that may be a more doable way of lining that pipe. It's technology out of Germany. It's been used all over the world in the oil industry. It's got some good raves. A good friend of mine in Maine is actually distributing the product, and he owns Vortex. He's actually sold his business to Vortex. But anyways, I talked to him about it, and he said it's a good product. It has its niche. The thing that I like is that it's a quick installation. So if we decide to line it, we could do it in a week. And our biggest concern with lining was the cost of bypassing, which would be for regular lining is a 6, 7, 8 week program with 24-hour bypassing. Now this is a week program with the potential of bypassing during the day and going back online at night. So I'm looking into it heavily. I'm going to send us some plans, get some hard numbers, and then check out the technology thoroughly. It has a 5-year guarantee, and it has a life expectancy of 100 years. So it meets all the things that we're looking for. And I just think, and it has some drawbacks about connections, et cetera, but I'm going to look at it, compare some costs and et cetera, because we do need to do the force mains. We also have the one in Hines to the plant, and we know that we had a broken piece out of Smith, so that's got to be done. So we have a multitude of force mains in trouble. So I'm looking for long-term solution at reasonable cost. So as I get more numbers, I'll share it with the board. We also met with some gentleman and a young lady from China, and I don't know if she's young. She gave me a lot of fingers. She counted, so she'd be a young lady. But they talked about a really good technology about decentralization sewer, centralization sewer. It meets terrific treatment, and we're trying to figure out costs, and and comparisons, et cetera, but it has the potential to allow us to sewer more of Wareham without big pipes to the treatment plant. It's decentralized. You put this small unit in a neighborhood, let's say Glen Charlie Road or Shangri-La, we drop in the middle of their area, we pipe everything to there, treat it, and then put it in the ground. And so it's a great recovery. Instead of septic systems at 45 milligrams per liter of nitrogen, we're going to be putting in 3 and 4, which is tremendous, and phosphates down to less than 3. So those are good numbers. So I'm looking to that technology to continue sewering Wareham. That may be an answer if for some reason we decide not to go to the canal or it becomes impossible. So I'm looking at all these technologies because Wareham has to continue to grow. We know moving to the canal is a must because Wareham's coming to a screeching halt. We're talking about businesses wanting to expand, businesses want to tie into businesses. We've got new developments. We have to expand. We cannot ignore it. And so I'm looking at all the potentials and probabilities and things that may be cheaper. So I'm excited about that. I'll keep you updated on that. I know Jim was at the meeting, Russ was at the meeting, some engineers and others. And so it was a good meeting, very educational. And the pilot is in Plymouth. And so we all can go to Plymouth Airport and see the technology. Pretty interesting. So that's happening. I'm pretty excited about that. That's really about it.
Guy, while you're on that subject, can we take a break over to Russ? Russ, would you like to comment on that meeting? What was your feeling on that?
Yeah, I think it's the technology they showed was very impressive. You know, the biggest thing with any new technology is getting a clearance through DEP before it can be implemented, and that's something that the vendor has to do. So they have to get that process done. If in fact that they get the approval and it can be implemented into sewer systems, it's going to be the first kind of decentralized approach that I really see taking off. We've always said in the engineering community, if you want to become a billionaire, invent a septic system that can discharge at 3 milligrams per liter and it doesn't have a lot of moving parts. We know that it would take off everywhere. It's just, the technology isn't there. And this is kind of going in that direction where you look at treatment on a much smaller scale. So it was really, it was exciting to see. There's still some homework that they need to do and get done. But if it comes to fruition, it's going to be a very impactful technology. Let's put it that way.
And the other thing that nobody talks about is it's integratable into neighborhoods. What they do is a lot of the stuff is buried, and the land, it's very small footprint. In Shangri-La, they have a playground. You can put it underneath that playground, put it anywhere. And it integrates with the community. There's park benches, you can do waterfalls. I just think the overall aesthetics is incredible. And the other thing is because of the technology, it's low DO. The odors are minimal. They say no odors, but I hate to say that, so I always say minimal. So that's another advantage. So it's integratable into neighborhoods without that not my backyard mentality, which is very big in the wastewater industry. So yeah, it has a lot of pluses, and DEP's seen the technology, they're excited about it, but the vendor has to complete the forms, complete the paperwork, get it to Beta Engineering. A report has to be submitted to DEP to get it approved. They say they can do it within a month, but that's where we are with it. It was really innovative and good to see.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. It's a good week. So I'm going to throw this out there. I had planned to retire many times, and I gave the town, I talked to Derek, I told him December 31st of 2021 is when I would retire. So in the interim, I'm trying to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with Thursday and Fridays off, dealing with some health issues, but it works out well. Again, I'm going to be frank, when December 31st comes around, I could be another idiot and say I'm not ready, but I believe this is final. This is my final answer.
Okay, Brady.
This is it.
Did you check with the dog?
and he's matter of fact wants me to go earlier. And so I got him to
Are you training your replacement?
Yeah, we're looking at all kinds of stuff. I have a replacement that we're training right now that's really good. I think he could take over tomorrow. There's some issues, things that we haven't gotten to projects, whatever, but I presented a plan to Derek that I thought that we could move in a direction that would be beneficial to the town and to the plant. And I'm not at liberty to discuss it. That's something Derek's got to work with. And I think that he will disclose it when the time comes, but I've got, and have a lot of input, and I've got some great ideas to keep the sewer system and the treatment plant moving forward.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, Guy, can I
Yes?
have a question?
I'm
Guy,
sorry?
$11,000.
I say this last year because I'm going to deny it.
No, where's the money coming from
What money?
for the $11,000? Your FY '21
It has to
budget?
come from retained earnings because, everything goes back to retained earnings. I think it has to come from retained earnings, Sandy.
I have to be able to identify the source of it in the article.
I would say general fund.
Your general budget?
No, general fund. No, it's retained earnings. General fund is the town's money. I'd like
That's where it should come from.
Yeah,
That's where it
because
should come from.
That's better. Spend theirs.
it's coming from retained earnings. Absolutely, retained earnings.
Yeah.
The last I knew was 5 point something million in retained earnings, but I'll get a hard number on that.
I don't need that. I just know it cover $11,000.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Moving on, we've still got our unfinished business with the sump pumps and the homes not connected, although the homes still seem to be working in a positive direction. So I don't think we'll ever get them all done, but we've made a pretty substantial dent in them.
And the
Mix
sump
at
pumps?
the moment. Yeah, no, the homes.
No, I get that. So for sump pumps, Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Right now, and I think I've talked to you about this and some others. Wankinko and Bayview, because of the sump pumps, and the last time we tried to line is in trouble. We have some issues down there. I'm looking at surveying that Wankinko Drive, Wankinko Ave or Road. I'm not so sure what they call it, but Bayview, I think Pleasant, and I think one other, and then I think the one Murphy. I'm looking to put grinder pumps in there because the pipe is 17 feet down. To repair that pipe, I got a quote of 2.5 million. I don't know what it's going to cost for grinder pumps, but what I like about it is it gets rid of all rags because it's a grinder pump, individual, and you cannot put a sump pump to the system. So in that area, we have a lot of sump pumps. I think will go along with we have a policy already that says if you're in a high water table area, you can't put regular sewer, you got to put a grinder pump because we know that sump pumps can't pump the grinder pumps. That's already our policy. But because this area is in trouble, I'm going to move forward with some research. I would like to do that because I cannot replace that asbestos pipe that's been blown up from the sump pumps when we tried the line. So it makes all the sense in the world to move that direction and get that done. And then that addresses some sump pumps. And then I think slowly throughout the community, we have these low-lying areas. It may be wise, instead of trying to rely on pipes, maybe start doing small pieces of grinder systems and eliminate sump pumps, and it gets rid of rags and big pump stations. So in the long term, as we move along, it eliminates a lot of problems for us. And all the new connections we're doing, where the Shangri-La, we're looking at along Route 28 to expand, they're all going to be grinder pumps. We're going to move towards that because we're along the water. And when you got to put deep dig in water and infiltration and sump pumps, they just don't go together. So by using sealed pipes and small pipes with grinder pumps, we eliminate infiltration and we eliminate sump pumps, and that gives us more capacity. So I just want to bring the board up to speed on that. I'll keep you informed as we move along.
Well, that's positive.
I promise.
All right, any new business?
None.
Any monkey business?
Plenty.
That's the company, Primus Lining.
Oh, yeah. Is that the name?
I have a question.
Yes, Sandy.
National Water Main Cleaning Company, $800,000.
Yes,
Is that American money?
it's American money.
Okay.
Is that C Street?
That's C Street, yes. I think we allocate, so to your point, Seth, I think we allocated a little over $1 million. So
Yeah,
do
we
we
did.
take it back or do we spend it on something else? Because the article was for over $1 million. We only spent, I think, a little over 800,000. So what do we do?
Florida?
Party.
I just think, because maybe it goes back to retained earnings. I don't know. Because you talked about the last article, 500,000, then we didn't spend what we asked for. What do? We got a good deal. We combined things. It worked out really well, and we spent quite a bit less. So we should maybe address that too. Does that have to be done at town meeting or?
I have C Street repairs at 600,000.
No, that was, we did an article last year for $1,036,000. I think it was, I could be off. 600,000 was projected when we started the project, but that didn't come out to real, I don't think that was an article. Or it was an article, we never used it, but then we upped it to $1 million, $1,036,000, something like that. It was in the article, last year's article.
Guy, that $1 million, didn't that include part of Smith Street?
It did not. We got Smith Street done for included in this project for under $1 million. So they got two for under $1 million. It worked out really well. Smith was separate. Yes.
But that was part of that 800. Is that correct?
No, it wasn't.
No.
We had
Okay.
600,000
All right.
originally for 600,000 originally. We thought for C Street, we estimated 300,000 for Smith. Those are just off the cuff estimates by talking to people. We got the actual bid. It was 800,000 for both of them.
Right. That's
And
what I'm saying.
engineering.
Yep.
And engineering. It was a good deal. It was a real good deal.
Yep.
We saved money.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was
Really good.
included as Smith in there someplace.
Smith was a
Yeah.
side thing. It's like 300,000 we're going to do for Smith.
Yeah,
It
it was part of it. Right.
was really a good deal.
Sandy, anything else?
No,
Okay. Our next meeting then we're gonna be the 25th. Same time, same station. Make sure your seat's comfortable.
Mr. Chairman,
And right
So
now,
there will be no meeting the 18th. I like it. Okay.
correct, right. And if I could call on our erstwhile member who will stand.
Donna,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
second.
Wow, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
what
Good
time is it?
Good night.
Good
Mac,
night, everybody. Thank you.
Mac, tomorrow?
Yes.
I need the time for closing.
Time
I
for
got
closing,
7:53, I don't know.
7:53.
153.
7:53.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Wherever-
How the hell do I get out of here now?